Hey, welcome. Welcome to HealthShare Explained. My name is Eric, and I am going to go through a few slides here with you to talk about a smarter way to pay for healthcare. And it's utilizing what's known as a health share or healthcare sharing ministry. They've been around for a long time now, and they're growing in popularity, mostly because they're more affordable and they do work. They do take care of their members, and it's good to know how they work and if it's a viable option for yourself. And so, I hope that this is informative and not too long of a explanation of what it is and how it works. And so, let's jump into it. Okay. So the problem today with a lot of the medical system or insurances is basically that premiums are out of control, meaning you're seeing increases every year of 15, 20%, sometimes, huge amounts that are going up out of pocket every month from your wallet to health insurance of some kind, excuse me, of some kind. And then deductibles are high, of course. The network, it doesn't seem to always give you the best providers, and so you're left trying to find people claims. Sometimes there's games involved. I mean, not literal, but in the sense of like, hey, they're going back and forth trying to figure out what they're going to pay. It's going to get denied, and how to rebut, how to resubmit and all that stuff. And then employers are feeling the squeeze financially. They want to support their employees. They want to offer their employees a good, solution for their health. It maintains and retains employees, right? That kind of thing. But they're feeling the squeeze, and same with the employees. And so there is an alternative solution out there, and the alternative really fits with what we're talking about today. And it is health sharing, right? The idea of a health share. Health shares are a nonprofit community that shares major medical expenses directly without the insurance middleman. It has lower costs every month for your contributions. It's flexible, meaning that it can be for you or your family, or you can choose how much you want to pay out of pocket. Um, you can choose who you want to go to. You don't have any restrictions. You can, as long as they're willing to accept you as a cash basis, cash pay payment or patient, then you can go to them. And then it's community driven, meaning that as the community grows, the membership guidelines are dictated by the community of what's shareable, what's not shareable. And so as the fund continues to grow, there's more resources available to be allocated to medical expenses. So let's talk about what HealthShare is not before we go too far down the rabbit hole. So HealthShare is not insurance, right? So if you're looking for an insurance and looking for an insurance provider or plan, HealthShare is not going to fit that, right? It's just not an insurance company. It's structured as a nonprofit organization that's a community-based organization, not insurance. Um, HealthShare is also not ACA compliant in itself, and so um, if you're in a state, which there are handful of states that do have a mandate for their residents to have kind of like an insurance plan, what was known as the American the Affordable Care Act, right? The ACA. That ACA is no longer in force, so it's been lifted. It's not something that is mandated by the federal government to everybody. So when they tell you, oh, this is ACA compliant, it doesn't really matter. It's just fluff, right? And so, but a health share itself is not an ACA compliant plan by itself. So if you have a need to meet ACA requirements because you're in one of those states, or you're an employer looking to offer benefits to your employees, I do have solutions available that work with employers with over 50 employees, and you need to meet those ACA requirements, right? Those are the only time you have to meet it still, is if you're an employer with over 50 employees. And so again, it's not guaranteed or contractually guaranteed to pay for medical needs, right? What that means, though, is that if there was a guarantee or some sort of contract in place with the member, then it would be insurance. And because insurance that's what insurance is it's a contracted guarantee that they're going to pay X amount of dollars for every medical need or whatever that comes up. And so HealthShare is not contractually guaranteed that way. And part of that is cost effective, right? Because the cost associated with those guarantees and all of that legalese and all that stuff is very expensive. And so if we were to put in contracts as a HealthShare, we would literally just become insurance. And all the rates would be the same as everybody else. And so we're not doing that. We're not trying to be insurance. We want to be totally opposite of insurance and not look like it. And so we have a different structure. The contributions that you make every month, even though it's going to a nonprofit, are not tax deductible, and there is no tax write-off for businesses because it's not a health insurance plan, right? So that's just not going to happen. Now, who can join a health share, right? So you may wonder, like, well, can I join? Is this going to work for me? The answer is this: it's ages 18 to 64, right? So if you're in that age bracket, then it works for you. If you have kids, they can be added to your membership at any time. There's no medical underwriting required. We don't, ask for blood work or send somebody out to check you out or anything like that. Individuals and families can join. I love it for entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs, you guys are working hard at building a business. You don't need to spend money on insurance. I don't think that's necessary. I think if you find a good health share organization that will take care of your employees, that's more the route you need to look at and take, is going with a better solution, right? Employers, there are no minimums for participation when you have a health share or offer a health share to your employees, which is nice. And then the other employees, if they decide to leave the company, they can keep that. They can just assume responsibility on the payment and keep it going, and so they don't lose the value of the health share. So how it works, right? So once you become a member, you choose an IUA. IUA stands for the initial unshareable amount. And so if you have a medical need, you would pay the first initial unshareable costs associated with your medical need. Then you would submit your medical need online through the portal, through the HealthShares portal, and then the community or they would respond right to your medical need request, and then the community would share in the rest of those expenses related to your medical need. And that's how that works. So let's explain the IUA a little bit better. So it's better than a deductible. And what it is, it's pay it once per medical event, right? So you choose between 1250 or 2500 or 5000. So you have three options to choose from. Personally, I've chosen the 1250 because I have a family at home with kids, and I don't have uh, you know, what's really nice is there's a max of 3 IUAs per household. So my max out of pocket would be 3 times 1250. So at there's a $3,750. That would be like if it in a worst case scenario I needed to use it 3 times in a year. But per medical need, it's only 1250. So I can easily come up with 1250. It's a little harder to come up with $5,000 out of pocket real quick. And so if you're maybe a little older and you are like never going to use this, you want to use this as just a catastrophic safety net, maybe the 5,000 is better suited for you. And then for most people, 2,500 is a good number, right? So you pay it once per medical event, right? So this is the initial costs associated with that event. And it could be the doctor, an MRI, blood work, or whatever it is that you peanut butter that across, right? That 1250. Follow-ups are included, right? So anything beyond that 1250, maybe you have a surgery, the health share pays for the surgery, and then there's some follow-up visits that are required or afterwards, or maybe there's physical therapy. All of that's going to be included in this medical event that is being paid for by the health share after you choose or pay your 1250, right? And so what I was mentioning about the 3 IUAs per household per year, I'm responsible for the first three in a 12-month window. But after that, those three, if I have a fourth, fifth, or sixth medical need that comes up, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be fully shared with the community. So there's no additional out-of-pocket expense for me. I've already met my 3 requirement, right? And so that's how that works. So what counts as a shareable need, right? So emergency care, accidents, hospitalizations, surgeries, even maternity, we do help with maternity, and serious illness, right? All of those are available for sharing with our community. If it's an emergency or if it's like a routine like visit where it's like, oh, I hurt my knee, I need to go see a doctor, figure out what the problem is and find a solution. Or if it's like life and death, you go in straight to surgery and you come out in 2 days later. Both of them are going to have the same route. You're going to do what I mentioned earlier, which is you submit those medical needs to the HealthShare. They then work with you on making sure you met your portion, and then they'll find a solution to get you the money or pay directly to the providers for the rest. And so it works like that. So here's a few things that are not shareable, right? And so routine care is not going to be shareable because it's a catastrophic plan. We do like to put some routine care pieces into the mix, right? So we've got preventive services, we've got telehealth services, things like that are going to help, right? Dental and vision are not shareable with the community. This is not considered a dental plan or a vision plan. Elective procedures, so things that are not medically necessary are going to be not considered shareable by the community. And then pre-membership conditions, right? So pre-membership conditions have what's called a phase-in period. And so if you have something that you know you had before you joined the health share and you're still dealing with it, that is going to be subject to a bit of a waiting period. And so what we do is we have a 12-month first year a waiting period. So there's no dollars shared toward those only those pre-existing conditions. Now, mind you, don't not everything. If something new happens unrelated to a pre-existing, then it's fully shareable. But the pre-membership conditions or pre-existing conditions, first year, $0 in sharing. Second year, up to $25,000. So now you have funds available for any existing medical needs. Year three, it goes to 50, and then every year after that, it's $125,000 in sharing. And so you want to be able to um, be aware of this because if you do have anything that's pre-existing, then it's going to be subject to this. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. Those exceptions are related to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or diabetes 1 and 2. So if you have any of those are typically maintained. You know, you have some sort of routine. It's not going to lead to a major medical need typically, but if anything does happen and you have those will be overlooked, meaning they won't be considered pre-existing conditions. It won't be subject to this phase-in period, and so you'll be able to have sharing available for anything that's related to those immediately. So let's see. Now, we talked about routine care, right? And so a lot of the routine stuff is handled by what we call a direct primary care, a DPC, and that could be a telehealth direct primary care. It could be maybe a system like goldcare, which offers, scheduling with doctors at your convenience. It could be a legit direct primary care physician who's now started their own practice in your neighborhood and is taking patients on as a retainer, right? And so that's important to find where you're going to get that routine care, and then you pair that with the health share, right? And that takes care of the catastrophic piece, the hospital bills, anything that's going to cost a lot of money. Together, you end up with this complete system of care, and that's really what you're looking for. Is just how do you complete that equation, right? And so the next three slides are going to be some additional services that you can add into your membership with the health share. And so we have what's called our preventive care uh, add-on. And this basically offers every member in the household an annual visit valued up to $175. So what does that mean? It's a wellness check, right? So every member in the household can go find a doctor locally or use those funds to get a wellness check. It could be women's health. It could be just related to. We also have child visits as well as part of that. So that's not part of the 175, but the kids they get that. We also offer adult preventive screenings. So if you need mammograms or colorectal cancer screenings, those are available after 6 months of membership. So you want to join and then maintain that membership 6 months, and then you'll have access to those. And those are all without any type of IUA. You don't have to pay the 1,250 or the 2,500 or 5,000 for these services. It's a separate add-on, and it's available to you immediately, with the exception of the preventive screenings. Right, those are 6 months waiting period. We also offer a virtual care component. Now, this is very different than Gold Care's telehealth, right? So Gold Care has providers then that have their own schedules, and you schedule a meeting with them based on their availability. This is more of a quick, if you need something in the middle of the night, a prescription refill, you need access to a provider, this is going to be 24/7 access to provider. But if you're looking for something specific and special or second opinions, I wouldn't go here. I would go over to goldcare and utilize their doctors. And if you had something that was in the middle of the night, you just need somebody to talk to walk you through something, then the virtual care is really important to have. This is what my wife loves. She really likes this because if a kid gets a swimmer's ear or some quick something happens, then she can have access to a doctor who can prescribe something and we can go pick it up. We also offer, so if you are currently on some sort of medication, we offer a prescription support program as well, and it's shareable with our membership. So the costs are low. You get discounts on the routine meds. They can do home delivery, or we can have it sent and picked up. And so that's just something you can add back in as well. Now, I did mention maternity. It's important to note that with maternity care, if you're a young family and you want to join a health share, you need to be a member 6 months before conception. Once conception hits, then your IUA or the out-of-pocket amount that you would pay starts at 2,500. Even if you have the 1250 plan for babies and maternity, it's going to always be $2,500 out of pocket, and then or 5,000 if you have that plan. But then it will pay for the prenatal, the delivery, the postnatal, hospitalization, OBGYN, C-section, home birth. All of those things are going to be part of the maternity. And so being able to get a baby for 2,500 bucks is amazing, right? It's probably unheard of in most places. Now, I just want to clarify a couple things. So we do have two memberships at this health share, right? The two memberships are the essential membership, which is the one on the top here, and then the direct membership, which is the one on the bottom. Now, the difference between the two is that the essential membership pairs out or removes the preventive care, the virtual care support, and the prescription benefit assistance. And what does that do? That gives you a better price because we've removed those services. You pay a lower price for the essential membership. Now, if you want to add those back in, you can do so. You just when you're enrolling, it'll just say, "Do you want to add it in?" You can add them back in if you need them. Not everybody needs them, right? And so the direct membership though includes everything. So it has all that in there. So if you know you want all those services, then just go with the direct membership. It will include all that in there with you or for you. If you are only looking for the health share and just want the fund or access to the fund and you have enough other solutions for other types of services or care, then you just want to go with the essential. And if you scan this QR code, this should take you to the pricing for those memberships. And so we only have a couple slides left, but why people choose health shares? Lower monthly costs overall, no annual lifetime caps, right? Fast processing, typically between 5 and 8 business days. You have freedom of your provider choice. You can go wherever you like. I always suggest just make sure you ask them, hey, do you take or accept cash pay patients? That kind of thing. Community based, right? So the community is here to support you and help you in your medical needs. And so that's something that you want to reach out to the community for. And then some frequently asked questions, right? So people always ask, is HealthShare the same as insurance? Well, it's not. It's not anywhere near the same as insurance. Insurance is contractual, and you have to meet premiums and deductibles before you can get any type of value for your dollar. And with the HealthShare, it's just you pay the 1250 per medical need, and you pay your monthly contribution, and so it's a lot. The cost savings is a lot better with the HealthShare. Is it ACA compliant? Answer that one. It's not ACA compliant unless you add in some other pieces in your business and you need to meet that. Let me know. I can help you. How fast are needs processed? Typically 5 to 8 business days. Pretty fast. You submit a medical need and they usually contact you shortly after. Do you still pay out of pocket? The out of pocket is what we call the initial unshareable amount. So yes, you would pay the costs associated with your medical need out of pocket up front. And then does this replace insurance? I would say yes, it would replace insurance. If you have insurance through an employer and they're paying it 100%, maybe keep it. But I would say, save your dollars, join a health share, and eliminate the insurance side. Does this work outside the U.S.? That's a big question I get. So people, if you travel outside the country and you have and maintain a permanent residence here in the U.S. and you're just out on vacation or something or away for a few months, you can get care overseas, but you want to submit a translated into English itemized uh, bill so that you can either get reimbursed or they can send you the money to pay for it. Typically, it would be a reimbursement because most countries outside, they're going to want you to pay up front. And so that's just how that would work probably. But so anyway, so you can check with the HealthShare on how or what they need to do. So typically, is you submit the bill and then they'll reimburse you. So and so if you're ready to create real healthcare freedom, then this is your chance. You can visit my website at whatishealthcare.com. Again, that's whatishealthcare.com, and you can scan here as well, and that'll take you to that site. And thank you for joining me. I mean, it's really short and brief. Hopefully, this was informative. If you have specific questions about your situation that you want to talk to me about, I am available to meet with you. You can go to that website, whatishealthcare.com. You can find and schedule a call with me, and we can sit down and go over your specific details. And again, I'm always happy and thrilled to help any way that I can. And so I appreciate you being here, and I will look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.